morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope that you're having a great day. I'm here and I have this gigantic boy on the paint table today, and he is the brand new version of Gearguts the Boss. And I as quickly as I could, did up his skin last night. I was burning the midnight oil getting it done because I figured you probably didn't want to watch me do more orc skin after I did this guy on stream. So I quickly did this guy. So he's not quite as bright as I normally do, but I mean, I think he turned out okay. I spend more time on the character's skin than I do on like just infantry and stuff. So even though he's not as bright, I do think that like the grades between the shadows and the highlights, I think is still pretty good. So yeah, so we have some options of what we could do with this guy today. So we can, what can we do? So we could do his teeth, which I would kind of like to wait on, or we can start blocking out some of the blues and oranges that I need to put on this guy. What else could we do instead? Those are really the only options that I have there. Blues, orange. Do I want to put red on this guy this year? I always say one year I'm going to do a red boss, but I don't think it's this year. Hey Mark, happy Orktober. How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? That is indeed a large sir. Yeah, so I'm running last year's version of this guy as Gaz, and I usually put him on a bigger base because the overhang is ridiculous, but this year the boss sent me a base for him, and so like that's the base he's supposed to come on. So I'm using it. I'm using it. So yeah, maybe we'll just block out some colors today. I'm gonna grab some paints here. So this is the blue of my orcs. Oh, I also want to show you. I've been working on his buddy Makari, Mac and Ari. So it's not done yet. I still have to do the highlights on the lightest blue. I have to do the orange highlights. But yeah, Mac and Ari. I'm like really happy with how cell shaded these guys are looking so far. So I also have a ton of other stuff printed for my list that I'm going to be working on too. So I'm going to be in the painting sweatshop and only coming out for practice games. Pretty much. Because I have a team tournament coming up in the beginning of November. And it's my first one, and I don't want to like let the team down. But I'm also like, every team needs to have a bad player on it that's good at painting, and I am that player on my team. So I don't want to let them down by showing up with unpainted or not painted up to my standard models. So I got some bomb squigs I gotta do. I've got a runt herd I have to do. I've got a beast snagga knob from my beast snagga boys that I gotta do. So yeah, I got like a ton of stuff to do. And this is like my commitment for the month. So all of my streams until this guy is finished is going to be this guy. October is always a very stressful time for me in terms of painting. I always have so much that I have to do. But yeah. So I'm going to grab my paints that I use to block out some of the colors. You know, last year I don't think I did any blue metallics on it. So let's do that this year. So we're going to pull out Sky Blue, Monument Hobbies. We're going to pull out Gunmetal Blue by Model Color. And I'm going to pull out Dark Gray Blue. I think that's all I need. No, I'm going to pull out this one too, because I think I would like this dark blue as a base for the dark gray blue on top. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I also need, I don't know if we'll get to the orange, but I'm going to pull it out anyway. I also did like a huge Monument Hobbies purchase for myself, because a lot of my first generation bottles, like this one, are just almost done. I've had these, I think I got them in 2019, end of 2019. So 4 years. I feel like that's a really long time for a paint, especially when you compare it to Citadel. Um, and also like it's almost gone. Like there's not much in there. I'm like scraping the sides, so I think I bought like 16 paints. And I'm really excited to get out of this style of bottle. They're like hard to squeeze. I don't like this cap. I much prefer these ones. Although I see I'm getting some crustiness in here. That's better. Mark says, you know what would be hilarious? A squished marine on the bottom of the boss's raised foot. I don't know if I have that kind of skill to make a squished marine. I could put it like maybe some poor unfortunate soul on the back, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with his base yet. Normally I have an idea. I don't have any ideas here, but I've got like this nice, I like to leave like a nice big space to do something scenic. Normally I just do junk bases. So I'm starting to think, what can I do there? Those two are adorable, Mac and Ari. They're just excited to be included, honestly. Jeff says, I feel you. I'm trying to get myself to play painted for an Infinity tournament in January in Las Vegas. At the absolutely glacial speed I paint, it'll be a challenge. Is that the Las Vegas Open? Is that where that's going to be? I love that gunmetal blue. I've used it on so many neat things. I like it too. I don't have like a lot of stuff available that shows it, but I've used it here. I usually just give it a blue wash and then dry brush a bit of lead belcher on it and edge highlight it. That's good. So I'm not going to put any orange in the palette because I don't want to waste it. I don't know how long my my order is going to take. So I'm just going to start off by putting a little bit of the gunmetal, which I need to order another one, a little dark blue, and then a little sky blue in my palette. Which I should take this. Okay. I just made a new palette, so now it's a little too moist. So I'm just going to wipe a little bit off carefully. Also, I just super love my junk palette. I've had this thing for like a year now. It's so filthy. And it's just made out of trash, essentially. But I am going to have to get some new sponges for it. I'm probably going to hit up Amazon, because I want to see if I can get like one big piece of cellulose sponge that I can cut to a perfect size. No Infinity at LVO this year. Apparently the LVO folks and the Infinity organizers had a falling out, so my buddy is running a 40-person event that he harassed me into coming down for. I mean, that still sounds super fun. Hey, Mr. Fish. Happy freaking Monday. How are you doing, my friend? Okay. So I like to put a little of everything into the palette and kind of map it out as I go, because sometimes I'll put too much of one color on and I won't be able to tell until later, and then I'll have to go back and redo my color blocking, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put a little of all of it into the palette, and I'm just going to start mapping out And I'm going to try and keep in mind what I want to be orange. He's got a lot of spiky bits on him. I'm trying to see how much checker he has on him, because I'm thinking I want these checkers on here to be orange. What else do I want to be orange? Not sure. I want these little sort of light fixtures. I want those to be gunmetal. And these are going to be dry brushed with lead belcher, so it will like sort of tone down the blue a little bit, but not too much. Because I don't want anything to really compete too much with the sky blue. That's that's always the main focal point. After the skin, of course. Hey, Inquisitor. It goes pretty well today. I got no complaints. It's raining today, so my body's hurting a little bit, but it's pain season, so it's expected. I broke out my my capsaicin cream the other day, and that really does make a difference. Takes a lot of the ache out. And it's cheap as chips. For people who don't know, I have arthritis and I'm trying really, really hard to um, stay off of hard medication for it. I just really don't. I just really don't want to do it. I don't want to be hooked on medication for the rest of my life. So I'm trying all sorts of like weird remedies for pain management, and that one is one that actually works. That gunmetal blue is so good. I might just make it a primary color on my new Infinity faction. It's great. It's better over a dark color than it is over a light color. So I would maybe not prime white, but because it's metallic, tends to do better over dark color. But or just base coat it with something else. It's dark. Um, But I would say that for all metallics. It's not just because of the qualities of this paint, but it's very pretty. It is one too that if you want like maximum color payoff, I do suggest doing 2 layers of it. Okay, I also have to be very careful because I want to do his shirt this dark blue, and I don't want to nick the green that I've already done, so I'm going to be very careful. Very careful. I think I'm going to do a lot of these tubes black as well that you see going into him through here. Mr. Fish says, we just spent the weekend moving and unpacking. I'm mentally dead, but overall doing great and excited for the change. P.S. The only model damage was on a Stompa. Little dangle gobbo fell off, but fixed. Incredible. I hope that your furnace is less noisy than at your old place. Um, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor says, ooh, and you live in Canada land. Cold plus arthritis equals hell. The cold itself is not that bad. It's honestly moisture in the air that is the worst for me, personally. Okay. I just want to do something real quick. Oh. I guess I can't make Mr. Fish a moderator. I don't know why. Hmm. Interesting. But Mr. Fish says so much more quiet. Good. Yeah, I upgraded my furnace last January, I think, and holy, like when it turns on, I'm like, is the furnace on? So quiet compared to like the banging awful mess that I had before. See, I made a little boo-boo here. I'm gonna fix that. I don't have it, words. I don't have to make it perfect because I'm gonna wash all that blue. But that looks a little bit better. I tried to make you a moderator, Mr. Fish, and the YouTubes won't let me. It just like won't save it for some reason. But I think I can add you. I can add you after the stream. I've also got my like 90s playlist on right now, which is some nostalgia, let me tell you. I was obsessed with music when I was a young'un. Um, so it's all this stuff is from the era of when I was just finding my own sort of tastes in music. What? Cord? What? 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 Who needs to be replaced with 3 grots in a trench coat? What? YouTube is like no cool kid roles for you, right? It's like I feel like never before in my life have I had more technical issues with technology. Obviously technical issues. Great, Tanya, smart. Um than I have in the past few months. I don't know if it's like Mercury's in Gatorade or something. But yeah, normally technology and me are friends, but like from this spring on, it's been nothing but issues. I was yelling at someone else about the ad mech new release. Well, Mark of Corn, I don't have 3 grots in a trench coat, but I the goblins that I showed you earlier are Goblin Commanda version D, and Goblin Commanda version C is 2 grots in a trench coat. So this is the most detailed Gearguts the boss version yet. So normally I'm not super careful, but I feel like this year the boss kind of threw out all the stops, so I kind of want to actually try a little bit harder on the model this year. Ooh, this is gonna be nerve-wracking. Pray for me. Okay, I think that's as much as I feel comfortable doing, because I don't want to mess up too much of the skin there. He's got pants too. Maybe I'll just do the pants. I normally do the pants brown, so maybe I'll do the pants brown. That makes sense. Which came first, Mac and Ari or that AdMech sniper? Mac and Ari. I mean, so the boss normally designs months in advance. Um, so normally our stuff comes out and is designed like way in advance. Okay, so I'm gonna do more of this gunmetal over here. On this kind of like grating, venting, I don't know what you want to call it. Oh, the Skitarii on stilts, yeah, he's dorky. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. So I feel like my opinion doesn't really matter because I'm not really a huge fan of AdMech in general. I like the old school like 1950s killer robots with guns. I like those. Those are kind of cool, but like nothing else in that faction kind of like inspires me to paint or play it. So I guess I should keep you guys in the line of sight. Probably be good if you could see what I'm doing. Um, Imatech looks good, but bland. I'm gonna add some lightning effects to his base. Gonna put the storm in Stormlords. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, wasn't that model fine cast before? So it is an improvement for sure, but I mean the bar was really low, and they could have done something so cool with him. considering like how the rest of the latest Necron releases went. Mark says, I can never paint things blue, and then I see your stuff and I think, gosh, that's cool. See, and I'm in the opposite boat. I feel like I paint everything blue. So that's why when I get my Chaos Space Marines, I'm going to paint them not blue. Like, no blue on them. I'm going to do, see if I can get it to, I'm going to do that. Kind of fall colors. No blues in sight. And I think I can do them somewhat fast, so yeah. No blue. I've decided. It's going to be the army with no blue. But yeah, I want to do like custom warband with fluff and everything. Like I want to go all out. So I want to sit down and actually find some like 3D printed basing stuff too. I want to tell a story on their bases. Mr. Fish says, the stilt admech are silly, but it reminds me of the crow fishers. Oh, yeah, from Mad Max. Yeah, I just feel like you're supposed to be, like you're a sniper, you're supposed to be braced. You're supposed to be stable, and I feel like if you get, like, tripped, or there's, like, a strong wind, you're just gonna topple over. You're not gonna get the shot. Pumpkin Spice Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, maybe. Um, Mr. Fish says, blue is the most underused color in my army, but all of my rockets are blue, so it's noticeable on the models who have it. That's a good shout. I do my rockets and things red, kind of for the same, kind of like for the same idea, I guess. But also it's not really like that much of a clashing color, because it's adjacent to orange. Sirkin, hey, happy Monday. I hope that you're doing well. So I had a practice game on Saturday with my team. So the team dynamic is real great on my Warhammer team. So we're called team participant because like we're not super sweaty, except Dave. But I wouldn't say that he's that sweaty. Like he'll still like laugh and have a good time with you at the table. He's just really good at the game. So anyway, he was like my coach on Saturday, and he basically showed me how to defeat not defeat, but how to get as many points as possible in a really bad matchup, because he's playing Thousand Suns with like all flamers, and orcs fear that. We fear it. So I learned a lot. It was really good, but at the same time afterwards I was like, my brain hurts. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. But then we all went out for beers after, and then that made everything feel a lot better. um Mr. Fish says, yeah, blue goes great with green and purple, so definitely pops. Yeah, because it's kind of adjacent to blue, and green and purple, I think they just look fantastic together. It's one of my favorite color combinations, actually. When I had Slanesh stuff, I was painting it green and purple. Then I gave it to my husband, so he wants me to keep painting it green and purple. So, Suns is a brutal matchup, especially when it's one of the best players in your local area too. So we went over how to like use the terrain and play smart for points and all that good stuff. But yeah, I was super cooked. Just absolutely cooked. Okay, I have this like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do a little dark blue here. Too much water. Try again. A little dark blue here. So shipping for like from the United States for my Monument Hobbies paints is really expensive, but it's flat rate shipping. So even though I only needed 8 paints, I got like 16. So I got like 8 of my staples that I use all the time, and then I got 8 new ones. I got a new metallic in there. Excited to try out. I got a burgundy color too, which I think is going to be really fun. Okay. So now I need to do... So I'm going to do all of these pipes black. Or maybe I won't do all of them. You know, I'm going to do these pipes black. I think I might do these ones the dark blue. Yeah. Honestly, blocking out these colors takes the longest, I think, out of everything that I do, because I'm trying to create a balance between all of my different colors. I'm going to do the inside of this kind of like a glowing orange as well. Which I think that'll be fun. I think that this backpack is the best one that the boss has ever done. I like it a lot. Blue is honestly the most versatile color I can think of. Goes well with every color. It goes well with a lot of colors for sure. I think so. I'm gonna be controversial. I think any color can go with any color. It's all about managing your contrast to one another. So, if you have colors that are very similar, so say you had like purple and you had blue, and those were your colors that you had on your model. I think the secret to success in that case is making sure that there's contrast between them. So if one is like a dark muted blue, you don't want a dark muted purple, right? You'd want a medium bright purple or a pastel purple or something that's going to create interest. Or but in terms of colors that I think go with everything, green and red are generally considered neutrals. If you use like the flat versions of them, like the single pigment versions of them. Let's see. Mr. Fish says, was it Demon Soup Sons or Bricks of Rubrics and Termies? Um, it was neither. So it was multiple small units of Rubric Marines with flamers, and it's like a toolkit kind of list. It had Magnus. It had like the super cannon, super flamer gun thing on one of the characters. A Mutalith Vortex Beast. Um, but honestly, like when you play against players of that caliber, they could bring the worst list ever, and still whoop your butt. And so I was playing against a good list and an excellent player. But like I said, it's a training game, so it's yeah, he just won the RTT yesterday at the store too. So yeah, it's not about like winning or losing at that point. It's about learning the things that I need to learn. So hopefully I can go and I can take those lessons and um, become a better player. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm feeling quite useless when it comes to 40k these days, so we'll see. Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor says, I actually just started using Pro Acryl recently. My new homebrew chapter uses Jade for the armor. Monument Hobbies nailed it with the few paints I have. So I'm an affiliate, so well, I shouldn't say obviously, because some people are affiliates for things they don't care about. But for me, I'm only affiliate for things I like. And in terms of base coats, for me, Monument Hobbies is the best. Um, I don't find they're as good for glazing, since they are so pigmented and so opaque. So when it comes to glazing, I will normally go for Vallejo paints. But if glazing isn't something that you do often, then Monument Hobbies can definitely be good for you, because The coverage is really good. The only thing too also with Monument Hobbies is they are hydrophilic, so they really will suck up water. So you really don't want to add water to them. You don't want to thin them. You don't want to go in with a wet brush. You really want to make sure that you're minding how much water is going into the paint, which is, I know, it's counterintuitive. Because if you use basically any other brand of paint, you're going to want to instinctively thin it down, but these paints you really don't need it, and you almost shouldn't put water in them because they will just sort of break because they're not made to be used like that. And I will say this, I haven't tried glazing with their medium. That is something that I could try to do in the future, um, but I don't do a lot of glazing. I normally just glaze skin. It's normally all I do. Inquisitor, you hate green and orange. I'm gonna have green and orange on this guy. Hey, mostly Zen. This is the new Gearguts to Boss Mark 5, new for this year. So the newest version of the biggest boss. Um, so I'm just blocking out colors, trying to figure out where I want, just some of the different colors that I use on these models. Mr. Fish says, "Wait, you mean one thick coat is not the right method?" It could be. Depends what you're trying to achieve. I think sometimes with painting, and I mean, I've talked about it before, it's why I don't really like to stream on Twitch anymore, is because I feel like people have really set ideas of what miniature painting is. Um, and if you stray from that at all, then they kind of ridicule you or make fun of you. I posted, what did I post? I posted my um what did I post? My Primal Bruiser Shock Troopas to Reddit, and the only comment I really got was unsolicited advice on how I could paint better. And it's like, it kind of gets tiring, right? Like, I don't want to paint like everybody else. I like to paint the way I like to paint. And honestly, like, I have the career that I have now because I paint this way. Hey, Scorpion, how's it going? Who makes that one? Gearguts Mech Shop makes this one. The chonky lad. His face and skin look awesome. Thank you. I was burning the midnight oil last night getting that done so that the folks who are regulars don't have to watch me do more orc skin. Because that's what I've been doing exclusively, it seems like, on this stream. Um, so, but yeah, I'm really happy with how he's turning out. I think I'm going to do this little triangle bit on the armor orange. I think I'm going to do, yeah. Blocking out these colors too is a, did I just, I keep breaking off these little chains. I have a little collection started off to the side here, because I'm a hurricane. But blocking out these colors is an exercise in restraint because it's real easy to do too much. The blue is so overpowering too, the sky blue, sorry, that I feel like you have to use it sparingly. Otherwise, it's extremely overpowering. Okay, so now I want to do a little bit of the sky blue on this panel. Yeah. Because I feel like if I would have done all of these panels this light blue, I feel like it would be just too much. And I'm going to wash this so I don't have to be super precise. Because wash is it's gonna fix our flaws. As it does. Okay. So that's gonna be orange. This little sort of internal engine part here is gonna be glowing orange. Let's see, what else can we do down here? Okay, I want to do this one here in this light blue. Too much water in that paint. Just gonna soak some of it up. Mr. Fish says, P.S. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm through the roof with excitement for what's coming soon. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a little bit of editing done on that today. My husband has to take the car in to get checked out. We've got a bit of a squeak, and it's odd. Like, normally I can have a pretty good idea what's going on, but this one is a little bit baffling. I think that there's just like a bit of debris on the brake pad or something, but we're gonna get it checked. So while he's away, I'm gonna try and get some editing done. Just talking to my team too, and they're like, "Are you getting your games in?" I'm like, "No," because I mean, I play games, but I don't play enough games to get good, and it's because I think I just do too much. Just do too much. It's hard to fit everything in. I'm gonna have to sit down and work on my um time management, I think. That's what I think. Do what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do this one here. I guess I'll do that on the other side too. Scorpion says, now that chapters don't matter when you're painting. Oh, when you're painting, I want to come up with a cool synthwave style for all my Marines. Do it. Yeah, I'm also excited for the freedom that people might actually have in the hobby side of things. That's also why I kind of want to just paint Chaos Space Marines as whatever I want to paint them as. Because I'll be able to play them as whatever I want to play them as. Okay, so for the bottom of his foot, where you see the drainage holes, I'm actually going to cover that with mud. So you're not going to see those. I'm actually not going to see very much on the bottom of his feetsises. But I do want some of this blue, gunmetal blue. It's such a great color. I've been reading a little bit about the flow state that different people talk about, and see if I can learn if I can use the flow state in my quest to learn how to play Warhammer. I don't know if anybody's read into it, but it's something that like artists and extreme sports people talk about a lot. So I'm literally trying everything to mitigate the fact that I have such a hard time learning. I'm like taking a brain supplement to make me less dumb. I'm trying so hard. But I think at the end too, I'm gonna have to get my time management better. I have to get more games in. I might have to just do the tabletop simulator thing. Because it's very difficult sometimes for me to get like down to the game store, and I'm trying to get my league games organized, and people are just kind of like, it's hard to get people to show up sometimes. So maybe if I play Tabletop Simulator, I'll be able to more regularly get games in. I might do this orange because I've got one on each side. Yeah. Gonna do this gunmetal color. Hey, Blushing Noise Marine, how are you doing? Mostly zen. I listened to a good audiobook on flow recently. As designated orc psychologist, I recommend you focus on enjoying the game most of all. Having fun and playing 10 games would be better than not having fun and playing 5 games and trying mega hard. Well, then I guess I can't argue with that, can I? I would be interested in that audiobook on the flow state though. I'll find you something on Flow. I'll message you with the book title. Thank you, mostly Zen. Blushing North Marine says, I'm doing well. Just came out of a GT weekend, which is always fun. Excellent. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little bit tired, but it's just because the days are getting long, or shorter. The nights are getting longer. I always find that I'm a very sleepy person. Um, in the fall and the winter. Um, but just been chugging along. Just been chugging along. I guess I can let everybody know. I basically signed the NDA with um with Games Workshop. And so I'm trying to also come up with some sort of way to make the most out of that. So I don't know if that'll just be sort of exploring rules and stuff when those come in, or what I'm gonna do with it. But yeah, I'm excited. So far, I haven't really gotten anything that's kind of adjacent to what I do, but looking forward to the day when I do. Mostly Zen. It was by I am not even going to try to pronounce that name. Who came up with the concept? Okay, I'm excited to read it. I'm currently reading a book about the belief of aliens. So it's not about aliens, but it's written by a religious studies professor, and it's basically her looking at the belief in aliens and how it parallels belief in religious concepts and stuff. It's very fascinating. It's so hard for me to actually read it though, because I'm usually staying up late painting for October. So I only get like a few pages in and then I'm like falling asleep. But it's really good. One of these days I'm gonna have to just like schedule in a day for me to just read. My queue of books is getting ridiculous. I have one that Mark of Corn gave me. I haven't even cracked it open yet. I've got a big friggin' 2 foot tall stack of books on my bedside that are waiting to be read. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do that, I think. Schedule in some legitimate reading time. It's pronounced Csikszentmihalyi. Mihaly? I probably just butchered it still. Um, like you've been busy or something. Oh, Mark, so busy all the time. Like I look at people who play competitively, and I'm like, how do you remember everything? Like, how do you find time to do everything? And then just sort of hits me that it's like other things in their life are probably going by the wayside to do that because they're passionate about Warhammer. Um, but for me, I I have to like do a lot of pain management things. Like I have to go for several walks a day now. Um, and I was like, oh man, like if I tallied up all of the time that I spend walking, that's a game of Warhammer 40K every day. And then I also gotta paint to a certain level. I'm not gonna say a professional level, but I've got to paint to a certain level because it's basically part of my job description. So I was like, okay, well, if I didn't have to paint to such a high level, that's probably a Warhammer 40K game every week. So I was like, okay, like I understand. Like my priorities are just different. Like we went to a tournament in August as a team, and then on Saturday Dave told us, he's like, yeah, I've played like 80 games since then. I was like, what? How? How? But it's because he makes it a priority. That's how. Most of these answers I can listen to audio when commuting to work, when walking karma, and when painting too. I've been listening to a lot of like documentaries. I find documentaries help me really focus on getting stuff done easier, I guess. Like I like listening to music for sure while I hobby, but it's I don't know, it's just easier for me to listen to just people talking. But at the same time, like it has to be very specific. Like it kind of has to be dry documentary style stuff. I've tried listening to lore channels, for example, um, because everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta listen to like Luton or whatever," and I can't focus on when somebody's just telling me fiction. I've been listening to a series on like Machu Picchu and um, Cusco and all that stuff. I find that kind of stuff super fascinating. You said his name fine. Okay. Okay. Um, is the walking helping? Yeah. Walking, I think, is the number one thing that helps me manage the arthritis for sure. Number one thing. How is the dog? The dog, he is a good boy, but he's a very big handful. Um, he's very sweet. So here's the thing. So he, I guess, looks terrifying. People often cross the street when they see us coming. He gets really intense when it's like potential friend mode. So if he sees a potential friend, which would be dogs, he kind of just gets tunnel vision. He still walks fine, like he doesn't pull, but he just looks really intense and scares the crap out of people. And and I think it's sad because he's actually just like the sweetest boy and just wants to be friends with everybody. So we're trying to work on the tunnel vision, but I don't know if I'll ever get it out of him. But he got to make a little Pomeranian friend at the park yesterday, so that was really sweet. I will say that when I'm listening to my music on stream, it takes everything that I have not to sing along, not to even hum along. I did that once and I got like a warning. So I was like, okay, I shall be quiet. I shall do the quiet. I'm gonna throw a little bit of orange on in some places so you can kind of get the feel for what it's gonna look like once the orange goes on. Try and get some out of here. My poor orange paint that is pretty much empty, but I keep trying. There we go. Don't need a lot. Like I said, I don't know how long my my package is gonna take in the mail, so I'm gonna put a ton in there. Now this orange is old. It's dried out a little bit. It's still like a workable paint, but at this point it's like a heavy body. So I do have to thin it down, and therefore it's gonna take like a couple coats to get the coverage that I want. Of course, when I get the new one, when I get my new bottle, it will just be perfect. But this one is 4 years old, so we'll cut it some slack. So when you're using watery paint, you really got to make sure that the first layer dries completely before you add your next layer on. Otherwise, you might pick up pigment and then it's going to look a little rough. Get caught up on chat here. Tell him playing 80 games will make him go blind. I'm not gonna ever tell somebody like not to do something that they absolutely love. Like he loves just playing the game. He plays on TTS all the time. Um, I just wish I wish I had that like level of dedication. Blushing Noise Marine says, I tried to follow your advice and set a goal for the weekend. I tried winning my first couple of rounds this time, ended up making it to top table. Hey, congratulations. That's amazing. I've never been at a top table. I bet that's pretty exciting. Was it streamed? I love watching top table games. So I'm really excited to get like a team jersey. Our jerseys are being manufactured right now. I'm not sure if they're going to get here in time for the team tournament. I hope so. They basically just used my design like as is. I thought for sure they'd be like, "Oh, that's poo-poo. We shouldn't do that." But no, they thought it was good. So everybody thought it was good. Team thought it was good. Manufacturers thought it was good. So hold on while I start a side hustle as a jersey designer. Just joking. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So when the orange goes on, I know it's not super opaque yet, but just like breaks everything up, makes it a bit more interesting. It was, dang. Wish I could have seen it. Played round 4 and 5 on stream. Ended up losing the last round, but still went 4 and 1. That's awesome. Did you use knights or what? What were you playing? Melee heavy Chaos Space Marines. Well, that sounds fun. I'm gonna have to, once I'm ready to, once I'm ready to start my new project, I'm gonna have to pick your brain about what to start painting first. I don't want to paint a bunch of stuff and then not have it be good enough to use in my super freaking competitive meta. My attempt at Emperor's Children, definitely not the list. I don't even know what the list is, Chaos Space Marines. I don't really know anybody who just plays straight Chaos Space Marines. Like on my team, we have Death Guard, World Eaters, and Thousand Suns. And they were trying to get me to do Emperor's Children, and I said no. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I don't need to, I don't need a reminder. But I'm gonna just play, like, Undivided. I don't want to have to choose. Ultimate flexibility. So once all that yellowy orange, I mean they just call it orange, but it's like a yellow orange. Once it dries, I'm gonna put the second coat on. I'm gonna go for about 12 more minutes, I think, and then I'm surprised the dog hasn't been up here to bug me. Be like, woman, it is walk time. But my mother-in-law's here, so she could be keeping him occupied for me. Just a little too. Don't sing, Tanya. Get a copyright strike. Mark says, I wonder if Forge feeds will still be good. Pretty baller right now. Hey, Moobin, my friend, how's it going? You said the W word. Puppers will definitely come now. Maybe. I think he's downstairs. I don't think he heard anything. I was playing Yahtzee with my mom at her house, and the dog was there visiting, and he was sleeping in the next room, and I needed like one more dice roll to like get a thing, and I didn't get it, and I said, bastard. And then my dog came running, and my mom just starts laughing, and she's like, do you call your dog bastard? And I was like, yeah. Look at him. She just laughed. Let's do a second coat on here. This is pretty much dry. I maybe watered down my paint a bit too much. Might have to do 3 coats. Who took my dice? Hey, you made it. You made it. You've got 9 more minutes. I'm gonna be here for 9 more minutes. Then I gotta go. I gotta walk the pupper on Sheeny. Being very patient, apparently. Shockingly. He's not the most patient boy, that one. He's looking great. Thank you. Yeah, we're just blocking out the colors. Just sort of showing people the process to these orcs that I do. Um, and yeah, so I will probably off stream finish all of the color blocking, and I'll do the washes because like nobody wants to watch me wash all of this blocked out colors. So yeah, I'm gonna do that off stream, and then next time I stream, we'll start doing like the highlights and stuff, like the fun stuff. But yeah, this is gonna need. I wrecked this paint on the palette, and I don't have much left, so I'm gonna try my best to use it. So it's gonna take a few more coats. Can't wait for my new one to get here. I will say though, Monument Hobbies like are really fast with the shipping. Like I ordered that I think late the night before, and like before lunch it was out packed in the mail. Very snappy. Is it really patience if he's distracted? No. Which bruiser is that? He's massive. So this is Gearguts the Boss Mark 5. Um, we at Gearguts release a new version of this guy every year. And yeah, so this is this year's model. This year he's got a giant chainsaw axe, which I guess is a big chopper, which I find hilarious. Normally he's had some sort of claw, but this year the boss wanted to give him an upgrade apparently. Also, new things on the model this year are the smokestacks, which I think are really cool. Now they actually have smoke coming out of them, um, which I think is really, really cool. And he's just a lot more detailed this year than he's been before. So, gonna it's gonna take a while for me to block out all these colors. So, yeah. Yeah. But this is my commitment every year. I know I have to paint this model. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be doing on stream for a while. And then off stream, I'm gonna continue working on Mac and Ari. Mac and Ari, they're probably about 2/3 done. So we're going to keep working on them. And I am working on some bomb squigs, and I'm working on a knob for my bee snagas, and I'm working on a runt herd. So I got like a ton of stuff to do this month. And I have to get it all done by I believe November 5th is the team tournament. And then immediately after that on the 6th, I believe I'm going down to play on tabletop again. So I just got to do everything all at once, apparently. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it today. You can kind of see where it's going. Um, Everything will be washed and ready to go for us to start doing some highlights, so you can kind of see what that process looks like. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, as always, leave it in the comments. You can leave it in the comments here. You can send me a message on the Patreon Discord. Send me a message anywhere. I love to see what you guys are up to as well. My feed on social media is pretty much unscrollable. So if you're working on something cool and you're not in the Patreon Discord, like feel free to send me pictures because that brightens my day. Love to see what you're working on. Um, and yeah, that's all I got for you. So I hope that you all have a wonderful week. If you want to paint some stuff, I hope that you get the time to paint it. If you want to play some games, I hope you find the time to do that. And until next time, everybody, be nice and roll dice. Bye bye.